Hi, this is Lemurian Donna Carol. How are you today? I am doing great. It's good to be here. And I do have a couple of announcements before I start the channeled message today. The first announcement is I will be on Straight Talk for the Soul with Carrie Murphy at 11 o'clock Pacific time on Tuesday, August 2nd. So that's excuse me, 11 o'clock Pacific, noon Mountain, 1 Central, and 2 Eastern. And if you want to listen live, I put the link in the chat box. It's right there. The link is listen live at carriemurphy.com/radio-show. That's her live link. Or you can register for her show and see a lot of great psychics, channels, healers, etc. At carriemurphy.isrefer.com. Anyhow, the link is right there in the chat box. So check it out. I actually am going to talk about Lemuria. I will channel the Lemurian Mother Goddess. The last time she brought the Lemurian Mother crystal into the hearts of the listeners, because there is physically a crystal that existed in ancient Lemuria. It was a tall quartz with a rose quartz bottom. It was very tall, and it's sunk, and it's off the coast of Maui, and she brought that energy into the people's hearts so that they could connect with her and connect with Lemuria. So because some of the people will not have listened the last time, she'll again bring that energy into the listeners' hearts, the Lemurian crystal energy, and then she's going to do a grounding exercise. So she's going to actually ground people into the hologram, which was Lemuria. So I will be channeling her as she does this, but basically you will ground your feet onto the ancient land so that you can feel it, sense it, and feel the energy of that experience. So it should be a really interesting show. Again, that is Tuesday, August 2nd at 11 a.m. Pacific time. I hope that you can tune in. If you can't tune in, you can listen to the replay later. The link, again, is in the chat box. Lots of information in the chat box. I want to say, hey, Angelique, hello, bonsoir, nice to see you. And say hello to Melissa, nice to see you. So that's number one. Number two is that tomorrow is the last day to save $100 on my class, Learn to Channel the Lemurian Way. And so we have a couple people registered for the class. I've got to have 4 people to run the class, but I'm offering it on Carrie's show, so I'm sure I'll get at least 4. Long story short is, if you ever wanted to learn how to channel, this is your class, because the class is run by the Lemurian Mother Goddess. She's the overriding spirit that is organizing, teaching, and running the class. So what happens is she opens you up and she activates you, meaning that you get activated to channel. And then she'll actually connect you to your highest and best channeling guides, and you will learn how to verbally channel. When you channel, by the way, what happens is your frequency goes up. So when I'm going to channel Archangel Raguel, so the guides will raise my frequency in the physical, and then the entity, if it's an angel or a high-level entity, they bring down their frequency. So Raguel is going to bring down his frequency, I'm going to raise my frequency, and we will meet in the center. And where we meet, he comes in, pretty much takes over my voice, and I start channeling him and speaking his words of wisdom through my vessel. And that's what channeling is. It's a little bit different than mediumship, because when you're a medium, the spirit is behind you, giving you information, and you're hearing it and you interpret it. But when you're channeling, the spirit goes into your vessel, 100% into your body. So it's a little bit more intense. It's also a higher connection. You know, you're more embodied with that spirit. So channeling is an ancient art form. It's really timeless. I mean, people have been channeling for as long as there's been history upon the planet. So anyone can channel. You'll all have different guides. But the best thing about channeling, besides getting the information, and they don't just channel information, they bring in healing. They bring in healing energies for people. I've had people that have been healed of whatever ails them in one session when I'm channeling my guides. I don't think they can get that miraculous healing in very many modalities like channeling. It happens, it's possible. So you'll be able to start channeling the guides to bring in healing. Okay, so it's a great skill to have. It's a great skill to learn. And up until tomorrow, you get $100 off. If you're interested, go to my website, register today, and I will send you out the information about the class. Okay, so today I am going to channel Archangel Raguel. Probably you've never heard of Archangel Raguel, but he is the angel that deals with injustice, and he meters out fairness or justice in the world, in our world, with humanity, and also in the angelic kingdom and probably other realities as well. So basically, he is the angel that brings fairness and justice to unfair and unjust situations, including wicked situations, immoral situations. You know, every dog has its day, they say, and that's true. I mean, we might not see it, but every time someone does something good, they get paid back eventually, karmically. Hopefully in this lifetime, but maybe not. And every time you do something bad, you get paid back. So when you look at these people who are out there doing bad things, and you think, how come they never suffer the consequences of their actions? They do. You might not see it, you might not hear it or feel it, but ultimately they do. And there's an old saying, he who lives by the sword dies by the sword. So if you're going to be in an environment causing suffering and pain, maybe in an immoral environment or an unfair environment, that's all going to come back on you, and that's what you're going to experience. So it's not up to us to judge people and be the meter of justice. That ultimately happens in the divine realms. They do meter out justice, and the karma always gets paid back. It might take 1,000 years, but it does get paid back, so not to worry. Anyhow, I am going to go through my invocation of the guides. When I teach you how to channel, I teach you how to protect yourself, which is extremely important. All right. And I just want to say also that most classes out there nowadays on channeling, or a lot of different things actually, are pre-recorded. You buy the videos and you listen to the teacher. This class is live. It's live. We have direct interaction between me and the students. It's good this way because I can kind of intuit what you're doing, and if you're doing anything I can correct what you're doing, or I can tell you what you're doing well, what you're not doing well, etc. I think a live class is the way to go, especially for something as fine-tuned and as sensitive as this, as the topic of channeling. And I'm old school, you know. I think the best class is a live class with everybody gathered in the same room. If you can't do that, then Zoom or a live class over the internet, which is what this is the next best option. So this isn't pre-recorded. It's not a bunch of tapes. It's an actual class. So isn't that refreshing? Anyhow, I'm going to start channeling. So at this time, I would like to bring in my highest and best healing and channeling guides. I would like to bring in the archangels, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Ariel, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel. I also ask for thousands and thousands and thousands of warrior protection angels around me and anyone watching this live stream or video later. Please block all negative entities, energies, and thought forms from entering this space. Lastly, I would like to invoke Archangel Raguel. I ask you to come in to bring in a message for the viewers today regarding justice. And I ask for the Mother Goddess of Lemuria to oversee and overlight this channeling session. Amen. Good evening. This is Archangel Raguel, and I am very thrilled that I am speaking tonight. I have wanted to speak through this channel for some time, and now it has occurred. So thank you, channel. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, angels, for being here. I have many angels with me. They are here to support me and also to lend their energy to fulfill, to bring more energy into the room, if you will, so that the energy and the effects of the channeling go out further. So that is why they are here. So I am Archangel Raguel, and they say my job is to mete out justice. And so you might be concerned at this time on the earth because it seems as though you're living in a very crazy, unjust, and insane world, a world that has gone mad, a world that does not make sense. And from our perspective, in some respects, we can see that this interpretation that you have seems very real and very true to you. So what we would say is, yes, I, Archangel Raguel, want to let you know that, yes, it does seem like a mad, mad, crazy world where all of this, all of these incidents are going on that are not making sense, but are also dangerous and unhealthy for humankind. What is really happening is that all of the karma that humanity has acquired, good, bad, and otherwise, since Atlantis, the last sinking of the planet, is coming up for release. So there are two main timelines here on the planet, and they are both interacting and interjecting themselves into each other's realities. So you have the timeline of those who will stay in the physical realm in the third dimension and exit left. And then you have the reality of those who are ascending, going into the light, moving up into the fifth dimension, and they will be exiting right. And when will this happen? In due time, but not that far away. We are letting you know that you are living in this kind of no man's land, or this space that has two massive timelines on it, and they are bouncing off one another, and they are causing confusion because although you feel like you're ascending and going to the next dimension and becoming enlightened and getting more light, becoming more compassionate, becoming divine, you can see that in the rest of the world with the rest of the people, that is not necessarily the case. We are here to tell you that people's karma since Atlantis, mainly since Atlantis, is coming up for release. So you're seeing lots and lots of people incarnated on the planet because many people wanted to be here to get a jump up on their spiritual evolution. And because they're here, they are releasing all of their past impressions. So it is no surprise, or it shouldn't be, that the dark forces have been ruling this planet for a very long time. And it is a time where they are going to come out of power if you're exiting right. Now, if you're going left, they're going to stay in power, and their true faces and their true dastardly acts will be known to the humanity that stays behind. Unfortunately, your frequency dictates where you're going to go. So if you're ascending, you're on the ascension path, you know you're ascending, you're a loving person, you're not perfect, you've made some mistakes, but you don't have rage inside of you, and you're not out to harm or kill another human being, you're ascending. And those who are actively pursuing the dark arts or have many dark entities within them will stay in the third dimension. So we are telling you this so you understand that the reason why it seems so crazy here right now is because so many impressions are getting released by so many people in such a short amount of time that it has intensified the effects of all of those impressions. This had to happen because the universal laws state that for every action, there will be a separate and equal reaction. So I basically help out when people are stuck in negative or trying situations. If you are a juror on a jury and you have to come up with a decision and you're confused or you need help, you would reach out to me and I could bring clarity or some help to the situation. For those people who are burning in their hearts because they have suffered some type of injustice, some type of slander, some type of lashing out by another person, I come in and can balance the scales. First of all, you should know if you suffer an injustice, let's say you're just driving down the street and someone just slams into your car out of nowhere and then takes off, it's a hit and run, that might seem very unjust and like you didn't even do anything to cause that. But you would have to look at your soul history and see 3 lifetimes ago that you were involved with the same soul and somehow um, attacked or bothered them, and this is just your payback. But suffice, that is why the masters say surrender and accept everything, because you cannot read your soul's history to know if you're ultimately responsible for what happens to you. So if you do get into a situation like that and you're upset and angry about someone running into you for no good reason, at that point you can call me in and I can help you alleviate the pain, release the anger, release the injustice and rage that you feel. But also I can karmically look at the situation and see if I can help out and bring that person to justice, meaning you maybe took down the license plate and you did a police report, and ultimately that person and that person's insurance gets caused with the accident. If you want a harmonious and fair outcome, this is where I come in. I make those adjustments to the situation to bring a fair and harmonious outcome. So I work with many angels. I work in many different dimensions. But it is always very interesting to work on Earth because there are so many different types of spirits here. And with Earthlings and with the situation on Earth, you never know what to expect. It's very changeable, somewhat volatile, and one has to be on their toes, even an angel, when they work with the spirits of Earth. other dimensions, other realities, other planets are more consistent, more constant, or you would know more what to expect. With Earth, it's always up in the air, really. And that makes it exciting. But again, many, many different types of spirits, many different types of outcomes available. There's a big range, you could say, of opportunity or outcomes for individuals upon planet Earth. You know, a person can have a very high frequency waking up, but then it dips, and then something happens that's not to their liking, and then their frequency goes up again. Or you could look at that same individual and they could have another day where their frequency stays constant. So when their frequency stays constant, they don't provide the opening in their field, in their aura, for an injustice to take place, a car accident to take place, or even some type of karmic payback to take place. If you keep your frequency really, really, really high, you can release the sanskaras or the impressions easier and keep the field at such a high level that you don't provide openings for bad things or bad situations to happen to you. If you are in a situation where you are affected because you are an observer and you're seeing some type of abuse, some type of misappropriation of funding or bad behavior, and you're not ready to intervene because, let's face it, sometimes it's dangerous for humans to intervene in human affairs because humans right now can get provoked and inflamed pretty easily. So let's say you're at a store and you see a young mother and she is very angry at her daughter because her daughter went down another aisle, and she lost sight of her. And of course, she felt like, oh my goodness, my daughter's gone. The daughter comes back, she starts yelling and screaming at her daughter in the store. And the daughter is taken aback. There's so much fear coming up, fear in her eyes, fear in her countenance. At that point, you're probably not going to interject yourself and tell her to calm down. At that point, to bring justice, balance, and fairness into the situation, especially for this young child who does not understand the ways of the world and how dangerous it is for her to be out of her mother's eyes, you would call in Archangel Raguel and you would ask me to come in into the mother's field, into the daughter's field, and bring peace and harmony in that situation. Also, you can, if you're the mother, you could ask for Archangel Raguel to come in when your daughter gets lost, just to keep your daughter protected, to keep her safe, and again, to prevent any injustice or unfairness or any bad happening to occur in her reality. So you have options. You don't automatically have to go into fear or denial. You don't have to go into anger or grief when something happens to you that you are not aligned with. You can call in your angels, you can call in your guides, ask them to calm your heart, ask them for a positive resolution to the situation. If you're looking for harmony, balance, justice, and fairness, invoke me, Archangel Raguel, and we will work on the situation, all the parties involved. If we're at a car accident, we're going to work at all the parties involved in the accident. We're going to work on the police. We're even going to work on the passerbys and the pedestrians. So bringing in angels to any situation that is not to your liking is an advantage that many do not utilize. Also, if you're in a wonderful situation, you're at a birthday party celebrating, it's going great, to bring more festivity, higher love, higher frequency, more harmony into the situation, invoke your angels. So constantly working with your angels and guides is going to do nothing but benefit you. And you will also learn to understand the difference between having us around and not having us around. So I just want to say I wish you all well. I hope that you have a good week. I hope that you are growing and learning and becoming more and more of who you are from your higher self's perspective. This is Archangel Raguel, and I say goodbye with the many angels here. Take care and be blessed. Amen.